Hi guys, today this video we're gonna talk about the human body. Here we have a small model about the human body to explain about the organs and the parts of the human body. Of course, this is not a part like muscles. It just give us small examples of muscles. We have here a leg muscle and a hand muscle. Of course, all parts are squishy. And here we have the organizer. We could use this chart to take all the parts from here and put it there. Why? To just know about it. I'm gonna explain about every part I'm gonna take. So this white thing here, just like shell, this big thing, the skin, and of course you could see the skull, rib cage, and shoulders, spine, and the hips over there at the back. Yeah, you saw. Now let's go begin to organize it. So we put every part here and tell about it. At first we have the intestines. Intestines. It is so important. This intestine, it is divided to two parts: the small intestine and the large intestine. The small intestine is longer than the large intestine, but it is thin. The large intestine is thicker. The intestines is between the anus and the stomach. Here, the stomach over here. The small intestine just take the proteins and vitamins, what needed food, and provides it to all parts of our body. With the small fingers called just a creature small fingers called villis. This muscular small intestines and the large intestines. And here we have our stomach. The use of stomach. Everyone is talking about the stomach. But what is the use of stomach? Just the food is there? No. The stomach is breaking the food and changing it to a liquid, smaller piece, and breaking it by the liquid it have. Of course, it is helping in the digestive system as the intestines. And here we have the liver. The liver, which help muscles, which help the stomach to break the food into small pieces. And here we're gonna have our heart. Our heart is a small muscular. Of course, it's working 24 hours, never stopping. You're sleeping, doing exercise, watching TV, it is not stopping. Just a small creature working, small muscular creature, just pumping blood to our parts of the body, all our parts in the body. Of course, we couldn't live without the heart. If heart stopped, what would happen? And we couldn't live without blood. Of course, it pumps all the blood to our body, so it works. And here we have the diagram. The diagram help us. The diagram help in the respiratory system. Just below the lungs over here. It is like a balloon. Now, when you take out the oxygen, it became bigger, and when you are removing out the carbon dioxide, it is getting smaller. And here we have the kidneys, which help to waste out unneeded things and water, just like two small muscles facing each other. Do you know that you could live with only one kidneys? Yes, if anything happens, something, you just could live with one kidneys. And here we have the esophagus and the trachea, just between the skull, here in the neck and between the neck and the lungs, the left and right lungs, just helps in the oxygen, and also it is in the neck. Here we got the lungs. Lungs help us in the respiratory system. We have two parts in the lungs: the left lung and the right lung. Both of our lungs help in the respiratory system, and they take oxygen and get out carbon dioxide. Of course, there are many parts in the lung. There are thousands of branches which take get out the carbon dioxide and waste it by taking the oxygen from the planets. That's why the plants is so important in our life. Couldn't live without it because it provides us with oxygen. Trees, flowers, all plants. And here we have the rib cage, which is so important in our body. It is protecting the lung and the kidney. It's protecting the lung and the heart. Without the rib cage, many things could happen to our body. Our lung maybe could stop or have a damage, or if anyone got hurt on his heart, or anyone beat on his heart, it could get damaged easily without the rib cage. And here is the skin. We're gonna remove it to take the other part. This white, just white in that model, small model, but in real life, of course, it is brown. Some parts has fallen. I'll go and get it. And here is the here is the skin, the lower part and the higher part. And here we have our foot over here. Of course, the foot. Let's get the tibia and fibula. These two bones are just between the femur and the foot. It's so important because all of parts are important. Of course, between the foot and the femur, and here between the femur and this fibula and tibia, there is a joints. Of course, to move it here, just here in the middle of this joint to move. And here we have the fibula. We have the femur. I'm sorry, this tibia and fibula in the femur, between the foot and the femur. The femur, you know that the femur is the longest bone in our body. Of course, it is the longest. You could see here. There is flat bones, irregular shaped bones. Of course, flat bones. With an irregular shaped bones. Just this longest bone and the largest bone in our body. This largest bone in our body is different between the bones in our ears. That's the small bones. And here we're gonna have our hands. Hands. You see the small hands, which we move it like this high. This hands is so important. Of course, it, and have 5 fingers. Yes, it have 5 fingers. And here we have the radius and ulna, just between the femur and the small hands. It is so important. Of course, the femur and the humerus, and there's a joints over here between the femur and the humerus, so we could move like this. And here is the humerus, just the largest one in our arms. It is so large. Bones, of course, protect us from anything, but not the bones. And here we have the hand muscle. It is just an example of a muscle, but of course there is a muscle in other legs and hands, but they just give an example so we could tell about it. There is a muscular system. There is a muscular system in our full of our body. It helps us to move. So, and it is so important, of course. And here we have the shoulders, spines, and the hips, which protects the back of us, and it's called the backbone. Of course, we couldn't live without the backbone, like vertebrates, because we are vertebrates. It's just important. It gets us safe and standing. Without it, we never stand, because it's so important. And here we put the shoulders just over here. And here we have the skull. We just put the skull here. There's the eyes, mouths. There are eyes, mouth, teeth, nose, ears, everything just in the skull. Our face, yes, our face. And here we have the squishy part, the brain. The brain, the brain. The brain is the most important part. You see how squishy? It is just like this in the real life, and of course the skull capsule protects it. And the brain is the controller, the controller of PS4, just like this. And it's just like the CPU of computer. It is a CPU of the human being. It is just controlling our muscle, thinking, and it is going to our five senses, controlling it. So when we hear things, these things here go to the nervous system, so it could go to the brain, so we know what we hear, what we see, or what we smell. Also this happens in noses, eyes, and taste, of course, four tastes. So on this episode we're gonna tell about the human body and take all these parts and these two big skins over here, and of course I will get tired when I put it again back, because it is just many parts. We got about the heart, kidneys, brain, all organs and parts of the body. If there is anything left, just write in the comments, and bye bye.